multiple inheritance in Java along with the interface concept. So here we have uh, one bank called HSBC Bank, and we have some uh, banks like US, Brazil, and UK Bank. So what you're doing is, for example, there's a bank called HSBC Bank which wants to implement, which wants to open branch in US and Brazil and UK. So what we do is, these are the interfaces. US Bank is an interface, Brazil Bank is an interface, and UK is an interface, UK Bank is an interface. So this is the child, the HSBC Bank, which is implementing these interfaces. So basically, whatever the methods are there in the interfaces, they have to be there in the child class. For example, here child class is HSBC Bank. Along with that, it can have other methods as well. Okay, so let's first write the interface. So here we go to US Bank, and we create interface. Here you can say I is written here, which means it's an interface. So yeah, this is not the one. Yeah, this is the US Bank, that was test bank. So now we can see here public interface US Bank, and here we are referring that variable. The US Bank has to have some, you know, minimum balance of the account should be $100. So here we have mentioned that, and then public void credit, public void debit. We are just giving a prototype of the method, and not doing any declarations. We are not adding any method body. We're just adding the method names. So here we have three methods: credit, debit, and transfer money. So let's study about some properties of interface. In interface, there is no method body, as we can see, only prototype is there. We can only declare the variables. Variables are static by default. This is a static variable, so we'll be calling it through class name dot variable name. Okay, and there is no static method in interface, and also no main method in interface. So we can't create objects out of interface. I mean, we cannot instantiate it because it's abstract in nature. Now let's go to the HSBC Bank, which we discussed over here, this one. So whatever methods are there here, credit, debit, and transfer money, should be there in the HSBC Bank. So what we'll do is, HSBC Bank implements US Bank. Why implements? Because whatever is written here, it is implementing, it is making it work here. And probably void credit, this is the method. Debit, transfer money, HSBC transfer money. Then we have education loan method, which is own HSBC Bank method. This is also own HSBC Bank method. And then we have mutual fund method. This we will come to it later on. So going to the Brazil Bank, it has one method called mutual fund. So of course, because it is there in the interface, Brazil Bank, it has to be here in the HSBC Bank. Well, it will be implementing this one. This will be implemented by this. Okay, so HSBC, let's check if it is there. Yes, it is there. HSBC Bank is there. Now let's create a class where we will be calling these methods. So we cannot instantiate an interface. Here it is an interface. US Bank is an interface, so we can't instantiate it. So it will give us an error. So here we are practicing static polymorphism, which means that we are practicing method overriding. So yeah, so compile time polymorphism. So here we have created an object of HSBC Bank, and then referring it through the variable instant variable, reference variable. Okay, so here we can call credit, debit, car loan, all the methods we can call. Okay, we can also call methods from other interfaces as well if we create an object, HSBC. Now we are practicing dynamic polymorphism. What we are doing is, we are trying to call We're creating an object of HSBC Bank, but we're referring it through interface QS Bank, which is a parent. So here we are practicing dynamic polymorphism, which is decided at the runtime. So only the methods that will be overridden will be called here. So u dot credit, okay. So the credit method will be called here, okay, for which one? HSBC Bank. Credit, as we can see, this one will be called, okay, and then debit and transfer. If you try to access education loan method, it won't work because it is method of HSBC Bank class personal method. So US Bank can't access that. Okay, so that is there. And then we are trying to, if you want to try access a variable of minimum balance, for example, so it will give us an error. See, it's not even recognizing this. Okay, so that won't work. So that's the reason we are referring it through the name dot class name dot interface name dot whatever the variable is, and this variable is final by default, they don't change. Okay, and we also can't update it. See, if we try to do this, it will give us an error. See why? Because it is a final variable. Now we go to the receipt bank. Yeah, mutual fund method is there, so we've called the mutual fund method here. You can also call it by practicing dynamic polymorphism. Okay, so this is called. So if you are implementing this, one more thing, if we have created a method in any of the interface and we have not declared it yet here, it will show us an error. See, it has to be, it will give us an error if we don't declare it. See, it is giving us an error. Why? See, why? Because you have not declared that method here in the child. Okay, so this is called, when we are using implement keyword, we are achieving multiple inheritance here. Okay, and if, so if a class is implementing an interface, for example HSBC is implement an interface, as I told already, all its methods should be defined in the HSBC one, the child. Similarly, here mutual fund is there, so it has to be there.
It's 7 o'clock.
Mutual fund has to be there along with its own methods. Okay, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This is called is a relationship. It's an implement, when the child is implementing a interface, we're achieving multiple inheritance, and it's called uh, is a relationship. Similarly, when a class is extending another class, it's called as a relationship.